Okay, making sure. There we go. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome everybody to ways to connect with virtually with your fans. And I know some of you are here live with me, which thank you so much for showing up live. And for those of you that watch later, I'm excited for you to have this information too. Um, I I just want to give you a little bit of a background of myself with live stuff. And if you don't know me, I think most of you do because you would have been on my mailing list. So I'm Tara Brisky, and I've been literally doing booking and concerts since I was very young. First started singing with my family and then started booking at 15. And I've been doing many concerts throughout the years. But live shows, as far as virtual or online, I did not start until 2017. And that year, what happened was basically, I mean, the live feature like on Facebook, it had been available, I think, for a couple of years already. And places like Twitter had Periscope. I know some people were on that. I was not, but I had a friend who was pretty techie, and she just suggested to me, I was putting out a CD, and she said, why don't you do a virtual, release as well as an in-person one? I say in person now. Back then we weren't really talking that way, but you guys know what I mean. And so I did, and she came over and helped me set up everything because I really had no clue, and I was scared, and I thought I don't know what to do, and but I did it, and we had some glitches. I think my internet was weird at some point, but we did it. And right after that, I also took a 5-day training. I'll never forget it. It was from a lady called Coach Glitter. You can find her on Facebook and Instagram. But she gave us a training on how to do live shows. And I think just that helped me get over the hump of doing live, being on camera, all those things. And so I started doing some live shows on Facebook as, like I said, as early as 2017, and then have continued. And through the years, I have done lives on continuing on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Zoom. Did I say that? YouTube, and then also Sessions Live, which is just now called Sessions. I have not been on Twitch. I have not been on Street Jelly, but those are some other places as well. And LinkedIn even has lives too that are possible, I think, if you have premium. So all to say, I've had a lot of experience with lives and continue to do them. And so I'm going to share my screen, and we will have time for some questions at the end. So if you want to just kind of save them till then, that would be great. And so hold on, let me share my screen. Let me get to the right, where are we? Here we go. All right. And I'm going to hopefully present this. All right. So you are here today, if you came, ways to connect with your fans and virtual shows. So you're in the right spot. I just want to talk, before we even get into those ways, about Facebook Lives and YouTube Lives in particular, because they are the ones I do want to focus on today. And this was just from an article that I got, that I put up here, but I want to talk about Facebook because Facebook Live is still very relevant. And maybe you think, lives are history, or virtual things are done. Well, they're really not. And here's some statistics from that article. The top performing Facebook Live videos, they're 15 to 20 minutes long. So really, you don't have to think about, like, if you're doing a concert, it doesn't have to be that long. But they get 10 times more comments than regular videos. So in other words, if you were just uploading a video to Facebook, you're probably not going to get as many comments. And I find this to be the case. A lot of times, if I do a Facebook Live, I'll get 30 comments or 40 comments or 50 comments, depending on who's there and what happens. But it's really true. And when you get a comment, the point of that is it tells the algorithm to keep showing it to more people. That's why it's important. And Facebook Lives, as you notice, 165% more comments than on-demand videos. Also, this is a really high number I didn't know. 93.7% of businesses use Facebook. I mean, just kind of get your head around that. So that means that, first of all, Facebook is still really relevant. People are using it, and especially a certain age group is using it. I would say probably 40 on up, but the point is, if businesses are finding it a place that they're serving people, we should think of that as artists too. And Facebook's lives, you just spend 3 times as long watching live videos as they do the pre-uploaded ones. So 3 times, maybe if they sit for 10 seconds on a live video you uploaded, even 30 seconds is better than 10. So you get the point. Now, I want to talk also about YouTube Live, because maybe some of you have done that, maybe some of you haven't. But YouTube Live is also another place where it can really increase your reach. And so um, again, YouTube is actually a great place both for uploading videos and for lives. But I'm just telling you specifically with lives, they do tend to favor the live ones over the pre-recorded, which again just means that you're going to have more chance of ranking higher on searches, more chance of getting out to people. The point is, both these platforms, Facebook and YouTube, they want people to stay on the platform. So when you are going live and they're there and they're watching you, the longer they watch you, those platforms are very happy about that. And that's again why live streaming can be so great, because there's this energy too in a live stream that isn't there when you just upload something. Now, on both places, you can create a live show weekly. You don't have to, but it's something that you can also schedule both through Facebook, through events, YouTube. There's a way to schedule. And so any kind of your viewers, like for upcoming events, if you have scheduled that, they can either click on it or get a reminder. I believe on YouTube, when you schedule there, if they subscribe to you, they will automatically get a reminder. And, if it's on Facebook and they click interested on your event, they will also get a reminder, which is super helpful for them showing up. And it's really the thing that I love about live shows. It is one way of really building a relationship with your audience. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But really, anything, of people hearing you sing, getting your music, it all stems from, as you know, relationships, building relationships. Do they trust you? Do they want to hear you? Do they connect with you? That's how, people want community, and these are ways of helping us find that. You know what? Well, I'll go through this first and then I'll ask the question. But what happens is we connect with an audience, obviously, when they stop scrolling. So if they see this live come up either on YouTube or Facebook, and then we'll be able to actually connect with each other. Now, here's an example I wanted to talk about. There's some friends of mine that do a live show every single week on Facebook. They call it their couch concerts. And a couple of weeks ago, I was scrolling and it came up that they were live. So I clicked on it, and right away they were singing the song Rainbow Connection, which is a Muppets song. But I heard it there and I was so delighted, and I had forgotten about the song, even though I used to do it in my repertoire. And so not only did I connect with them because they were doing that specific song, and then I stopped and listened to more, but then I actually did it on my live stream after that. And then I had people connecting with me because they were remembering the song as well. I want to just ask in the chat, I'm going to pull it up too, but oh, Marianne, that's right. You have it. That's awesome. I'm curious, can you guys tell me who's here today? How many of you have done lives on either Facebook or YouTube? Just put in the chat, Facebook, YouTube, or if you've done a live on some other, like Instagram, just wherever you have done a live, can you just put it in the chat? I want to see where you guys have been doing lives. And if you've never done a live, that's okay too. You can put that. But I just want to see kind of where we're at today as far as doing live shows. And virtual obviously doesn't always have to be live. It can be where you're recording it and then uploading it, so it still gets to people that way. But so I see, so far I see Facebook, I see Instagram. I'm curious if anybody's ever done Zoom, like a Zoom live with people, or look, like I said, TikTok or YouTube or Twitch or any of those other ones that actually are out there. All right, I don't see any more right now, and that's okay. We can respond later too. But like I said, lives are just something that are so great about connecting with the audience. And here's why. Here's some reasons for you. Um, People are still, they still are watching video. In fact, video, I do know, is getting a higher, just all over. I mean, Instagram is putting more effort into people watching videos, like they're rewarding people. They want more video. Of course, TikTok is a totally driven platform of videos. People are consuming it and consuming it. And not everyone is still going to even outdoor concerts or even indoor concerts. A lot of people still like this ability to do things from their home or from anywhere. If you think of this time of the year, at least for us in Minnesota, in fact, with Memorial Weekend, a lot of people for us, they start going up to cabins because we have so many lakes here in Minnesota. And so they can watch at a cabin, they can watch on their boat, they can watch in a car, they can watch in a hotel room. This is why it's so great to be able to connect with people. And literally, as you know, you can watch from all over the world. Today, there are people right here, we're watching together. We're doing this together from all over the world. And I love that. We're not constrained to certain times. And even with time zones, replays, the cool part about going live as well is that there's also a replay. So a lot of times you will get a good majority of your audiences watching replays. I will tell you that on Facebook, when I tend to go live, I may get anywhere from, and this is not a big amount, but maybe 10 to 20 people that actually watch the live. But then later on, my views might be as high as 300 to 400. So a lot of that is coming from those replays. And of course, as we already said, the algorithm, you're going to be getting it up on most platforms just by going live. Even Instagram, when you go live on, the little circles for the stories, when you are live, there is a red circle around your face for those circles, and they will put it at the beginning of the queue when people open up Instagram. So again, just places to go live. It's going to up your time of people seeing you, and you can gain new fans. Plus, it's free and it can help you make money as well. I mean, I've had things of, you can take tips, you can have ticket sales, and it's so wonderful. You can sell product if you have merchandise, CDs, or anything else. It's great. And you guys, I'm just looking back in the chat to see, we have some other people on here. I love it. Ade said you've never done a live gig, but you're trying to start. Oh, good for you. It's awesome. Catherine, you've done Facebook, YouTube, Tiny Bit and IG and Zoom. I love it. So thanks for sharing that, you guys. This is great. Okay. So with new fans, in fact, this is so funny. And I know, Catherine, because you've gone live quite a bit too, that you've talked about some of the people you've gained just by going live. But I was kind of reminding myself the other day of just going live on Facebook. I have someone, particularly in Indiana, that I know I've never met her in person, and I don't even know how she found my page, but she has been a consistent fan, and she always talks about Indiana when she comes on live. I have people that are watching from Illinois, from New York, from the Azores, which is near Portugal. I have there's a fan that I have that I'm not even sure again how she found me. In fact, she doesn't speak English, but she's from Italy, and she was watching some of my lives, and she would message me in Italian. So I had to do some, find a translation, but I thought how cool that music can connect all over the world. And we have this ability to do that. So now, once you decide that you are going live, I want to just talk a little bit about some of these ways that can help you connect up with those fans on your virtual shows, because I really think that there's just some key things you can do that once they get on the live with you, to help you keep them there, because that's the other thing. We don't just want them to get on the live. We want to engage with them. So I know this first one probably seems stupid in some ways, but look at the camera. If you are on your laptop, it's usually, if it's part of your laptop or your desktop, it's usually going to be at the very top, right in the middle, that little button. If you are doing it on your phone, it's either going to be in the top or the middle, or If you have it turned in like landscape way, it'll probably be on the left hand side where the camera is. And that's what creates that feeling of people feeling intimacy, feeling like you're being friendly. And so I still have seen people when they're live or on camera that they will look at themselves. Now, I understand why we do that, because I think sometimes we're trying to see if it looks okay. But what I would encourage you instead to do is, like on Facebook, you can actually set on your profile page a private setting, and you could check out your live there just to see yourself, kind of what it looks like before you go live on a public page. Okay, second thing is your angle of your camera. It really does make a difference. And I know this is more an aesthetic thing, but it's going to help you. We want to keep people there in every aspect. We want them to stay there because of who we are, but also in the way that we present ourselves. And it's simple, of like this little woman is showing you, just putting it either at face height or above. Either one of those is fine, but do not put it below. Do not come from a lower angle. It just is not flattering to any of us. And it's a simple thing that you can do. Now, if you don't have like a tripod or, other things, be creative. Pile up boxes, find a way to get it up higher. It's going to help you even just to connect with audiences a little bit better. They'll see you better. Lighting is another thing. And this, again, you can be creative with, but if you have natural lighting, if you can do something outside or on a deck or near a window, that's great. If you have a ring light or you want to buy a ring light, you can even get some ring lights pretty tiny for, I think, around like $20 to $30. You don't have to get the big ones always. Even the small ones will help a little bit. And if none of that, if you even just have some kind of light in your house, just make sure that it is shining on your face so that you are lit up. Again, I know some of you, I bet in the time of, 2020, even when people first started doing Zoom meetings, sometimes the light would be behind them and you couldn't see them. It was almost kind of a dark look, it would shadow the person out, and we don't want that. We want to be inviting and letting people in, and lighting is a really key thing that I've learned can really help you do that. It just makes you come alive more. For sound, there's a lot of different things that you can do, and I don't want to get too complicated, but if you do have a smartphone, honestly, that is one of the best ways to go live. Or if you have some kind of an audio interface or platforms like Restream or StreamYard. Sometimes, like if you're going live on YouTube, the one thing on YouTube I have found out is that you cannot go live on your phone unless you have 1,000 subscribers. But you can go live on your laptop. It's just that the sound usually isn't good when you do it on YouTube in particular. So you may want to use Restream or StreamYard, and they have free versions of those so that you can go through them. And of course, good sound is just going to help there to be less distractions. Now, all of us, when we go live, we do not have any control over sometimes the way the internet is, or the Wi-Fi if it's glitchy, or maybe YouTube is glitchy one day, maybe Facebook is glitchy one day. It happens, and you can't control that. But the things that you can control is I think really important, and also to start simple. So again, if you don't have a smartphone or you want to go in a place like YouTube, check out Restream, check out StreamYard, because they're going to allow you to still have pretty decent sound. Another thing, number 5, is the expression. I was talking to friends about this just yesterday, and we were talking about how, like, when you are watching somebody online, it is very close up. It's not like if you were at a concert in person where you were sitting 30 feet away from them or 60 feet away. And then you might be able to see their face, but you couldn't see the intricacies of their expression. But again, this is more like watching a movie. So anything you can do to make eye contact, to express with your face, to express with your eyes. And a way that you'll be able to get better at that is to watch yourself in front of a mirror, or watch, video yourself, or watch one of your lives back. And don't worry if your first ones aren't that way. You've got a lot to think about the first time you're going live, the first couple of times. But as you get more comfortable, watch back and see what kind of things maybe you can improve on with that expression of what's going on in your face. Now, here's something also that I continue to notice people when they start doing a live is they will say, "Oh, I'm just waiting until more people come here." Now, here's the deal. You might do a live and you may have no one show up in the first 5 to 10 minutes. And I know some of you have had that because I know you shared that with me. And I've had it. I've done lives on Facebook before or Instagram where not a person has been on. And it doesn't matter because the replay, you have to think about that. When people watch the replay, they want to know, they want to feel like you're just starting for them. And so if you just start and pretend there's people there and just welcome people, it's going to help so much more engagement even for later on. And sometimes it takes people a while to get on your live. Like they may not show up. I've had numerous Facebook lives where the first minute even, or maybe even the whole first song, no one's there in person. And then people start showing up and more come. So again, don't say that you're waiting, just start. Start with either something you're talking about or start singing right away. And then it'll feel like you're already in that moment. And by the way, you guys, if you want to, you can be taking notes. You can also be screenshotting things. Hopefully that'll help. If there's anything that sticks out to you, feel free to do that. This is something too that's really fun, but it does take some time and just to get used to is reading the comments and responding. Now, I know when you're going live, you have a lot to think about. You've got the whole thing. You've got to look at the camera. You're actually singing or playing. And so you've got a lot of things to remember. But I think to remind yourself too, you don't have to be rushed. And so because you can take the time. So like if you finish a song and you realize people have done some comments, literally just say, "Hey, I just want to read some of your comments," and then scroll through and do it. Or ask a people question, like take the time to ask them about maybe something related to the song. Or a really great one is to say, "Hey, where are you watching from?" Or "Did you do anything special this week?" Or "Do you have a favorite song?" Or, just anything that will get a response. And you can write out questions beforehand too that you can just kind of keep right by you when you're going live so that you don't have to think of them on the spot. That's a good way of being prepared and then not just having to rely on. But people watch because again, they want to feel connected. They want to hear songs. They want to be taken out of something in their day that maybe was a hard day. And, the beautiful thing as musicians, we get to provide this entertainment and music that is it can be so soothing or fun for people. And another thing is when you call out their name, a lot of times that makes them feel more part of the show, especially if you acknowledge something they wrote to you. I don't know if any of, now maybe this definitely dates me, but if any of you remember the show Romper Room, they used to call out a name and on TV and they would pick different names, but if it happened to be your name, it would feel like they were talking to you from the TV. And so it's something, but all of us like to hear our own name. Now, sometimes I know it can also make people feel like, oh no, they saw me, and it can make people feel a little scared. But most people, it's really a blessed thing because you're making them feel important and valued. And we can do that. We get to do that. Creating energy is something that it can be really hard to do. I know that. And especially if you're recording like a virtual show, maybe that you're putting up later. But even if an audience doesn't show up, like I talked about at the beginning, it can be hard to have that same amount of energy. You know what I mean? Where you're trying to pretend there's people there and no one's with you, and yet you're having to give as though they are there. And even asking questions, it's okay to ask a question even when nobody is there with you in the live, because they may answer it later. I have had that happen on Facebook as well. Also, I think in YouTube where, yeah, they weren't at the live, but because I asked a question, they put it in the chat later and I got to read it later on. So that can be a really, really fun thing to do. I'm just looking at the chat here. Oh, Carmelita, you remember Romper Room? Your name was called. That's so great. I love that. So anyway, again, whatever you can do to create some energy or just kind of psych yourself up for it, just try to picture people, even if they're not there in the moment, as though you were talking to them. It is a little bit of acting, but you guys are musicians and probably a lot of you are actors and actresses as well. So that can be great. Now, invitations is another way that you're going to be able to connect with these fans, because here's the deal. You put out the invite, and you might even put an email, invite to people. You might create it through YouTube. You might create it through Facebook, maybe Instagram. You put a post on. Wherever you put posts, people are busy. They're not going to remember to put it on their calendars. They just don't. And it's not because they don't like you or don't want to see it. A lot of times they just forget. So please, please, please do not be afraid to tell them often when you are going live. Tell them on Messenger, tell them in a post. Because the other thing is, the algorithms, the way they are, only some of your people might see one of those ways, and they might still want to know about it. Email your mailing list. And the other thing you can do, which some of you have already done, you've done weekly shows. And sometimes that even just helps people remember if it's at the same time every week, or the same, maybe it's on the same date every month. It might be a monthly thing, but those kinds of things are going to help people also connect with you and really gain trust, because they know that you want to connect with them there. But you have to keep telling them. And I know that's a lot to do at times, but that happens. So, and I apologize if you can hear my garbage truck. They seem to always come when I'm recording something. It's kind of crazy. All right. All right. And then another thing is, once you have done a live, this is what I also love about the way that you can connect with people. Of course, they can watch the replay, but you can repurpose it to another platform like Instagram, your email list. Maybe if you do a Facebook Live, you upload it to YouTube. Maybe if you do a YouTube Live, you download parts of it and upload some of that to Facebook. Now, I understand when you're uploading to any of these things, you don't get quite the views, but the point is, if you're doing a live, take something from it, so that you're not having to come up with other posts to continue to connect with your fans. Plus, when you repurpose, like even maybe you take a little bit, like a clip that's maybe 3 minutes long, and you repurpose it to something like Instagram, well, then you're letting people know on those platforms, oh my goodness, she was live. I missed that. Oh, bummer. But you're keeping it in front of them, so that then they might come the next time. Again, if you repurpose something short, you can even do 10 seconds of something if you wanted to, and put it as a reel or put it on TikTok, anything. It's just like I say, it's going to help you out to continue to connect and let them continue to know that you are performing, that you are singing, that you are doing something that they may again forget about. So it just kind of keeps it in front of them. A simple hack that I actually do is I will literally, on my laptop, like from Facebook, I will put it on my screen as if I am watching the replay. And then I take my phone, hold it up, and record maybe 10 to 15 seconds so that I can repurpose it on my stories, whether it's Facebook or whether it's Instagram. And so, again, that's just a really short, quick way. No, of course, the sound isn't the most perfect that way, but the point is, at that point, just to get it in front of people. So make sure that you are doing that. Another thing, which we already in America have this weekend, we are observing Memorial Day here. And I know for no matter what country you're in, you have different holidays. And holidays are a great time to be singing, to be performing, to help people observe the day. Sometimes people have things to go to, sometimes they don't. I've had people literally ask me the last couple of years. In fact, I had someone just the other day that was saying, are you going to do, a 4th of July show? Because I've done it in past years. They've gotten used to it, and people like to connect in those ways. Now, I understand if you don't maybe have songs that necessarily fit, but even if you found a song or something that you could talk about the day, no matter what day it was, you could do that. I actually just decided literally last night that because of Memorial Day. I've always done Memorial Day shows. I'm going to do one now on Monday. I wasn't going to because I thought I was going to be at my parents' who live a couple hours away from me. But I'm not going to be able to go there. And so I thought, you know what? Why don't I do another Memorial Day show just to get people to be observing for those that want to? And then it's also an opportunity for me to be in front of them. So again, think Christmas, Valentine's Day, any other holidays that you have in other countries. Please don't hesitate to let those be these special moments where people connect with you. And people love music. And, for us as musicians, we're kind of just used to doing music at all different times. Like we probably do it in our home. And other people, we've got to remember, they don't have that same opportunity. So you are providing a really important part of their days, their celebrations, and can make it really special for them. So again, just to kind of go back, and I'm going to go through these really fast, but I just want to reiterate, these are the things that we can do. Just looking at the camera itself, the angle of the camera, the lighting, of course, that we do, sound, making sure that we have decent sound, the expression that's happening in our face. When we're going live, making sure that we're welcoming people right away and starting it off right away. Reading comments, responding, asking questions, creating some energy on our end to make sure that we're pretty excited, sending out invitations and posts to help people know about it. And then, of course, afterwards, repurposing those lives as well, and then doing some holiday shows. I'm going to get to some questions in just a little bit. But I do want to let those of you know, because some of you already have taken this course, some of you know about it, but I have a very short mini course that can get you from steps A to Z. So if you've never gone live, or even if you have, but you kind of feel like you're unsure about some things, it's a really, I put this together in 2020 when so much was going online, because I wanted to help people just not get stuck. And so it's called the Complete Virtual Shows Blueprint for the Gigging Musician. It has such things as where to do virtual and live shows, what we call multicasting versus solo live streaming. All that is simply when you're doing a multicast, you're broadcasting to more than one platform. So it's a way to be able to go live on YouTube and Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, all those things at the same time. That's what multicasting is. And I let you know a little bit about that if that's something that would appeal to you. There's something called OBS that helps us with our sound. It's a software. I help you set it up if it's something you want to get into more for a little more technical sound. But it's a whole setup of that. So I walk you through it, because I'll be honest, when I first learned it, it was confusing to me. So I wanted to help you guys with that. Also, prepping and logistics for each show setup. I have a virtual shows checklist for everything you kind of need. And there's more too. And actually, this weekend, this is part of the reason I wanted to offer it too, is just I'm doing a sale. It's 25% off. Normally it's $37, so it's really not going to hopefully break your bank anyway. But if you do it, and you know what, I'm going to put in the chat, you guys, I forgot the link for it. Just put that in there. All you have to do when you go to checkout, and make sure you do this though, use the coupon code, write in 25 off. And if you put that in the coupon part, then it'll take the 25% off and you'll get it for that price. And it's on sale all the way through Tuesday. But again, if it's something that you're thinking, man, it would be good to just have some of these things right away, do it now. Don't wait for it, because it will help you get going live. And again, don't wait to get started if you've never done it, or you feel like you haven't done it in a while. Just remember that it's going to give you access to fans all over the world. It's going to help you grow the fan base, earn money for your online gigs, be profitable as well as an indie artist. And it gives us opportunity, because remember, when you do go live, when you are sharing your music, you are offering people a service. So also, don't be afraid to ask for those tips, because you've just offered them something. And sometimes people also want to be generous back. So think about that. There is also some bonus videos that I have added in the last 6 months that are both on like going live in Zoom and going live through Restream to help you kind of set those up. So if you're feeling like, the tech, I don't want to do the tech, I give you some walkthroughs of those to get you going. So again, you can be up and running. And Zoom, I'll just say this about Zoom, doing live shows on Zoom. I've done just a couple, but the fun part there is, of course, like we're on Zoom now, when an audience is with you, you actually get to see them and you can converse in real time. So it's a really great way to connect up close. Excuse me. So the sale is on just until Tuesday. And so obviously you can act today to get access. And the link I did put in the chat already. But just make sure, again, if you do decide to get it, that you use code 25 off for that discount of 25%. And now we're actually going to get to if there's any questions, if there's not, or comments. So I'm going to stop sharing. And yeah, so happy that you're all on. Does anybody have anything that came to mind, or have questions about virtual live shows? I'll do what I can to answer, and or a comment, because some of you have done them too. So Catherine, did you want to? You look like you wanted to. Are you unmuting?
There we
go. There you
go. Sorry about the lighting. This is so weird. I look like a ghost, but anyway.
That's okay.
Yeah, I've got you on my phone, and I'm on the laptop setting up Monday's show.
Yeah.
Cat's Meow, which I'm doing on YouTube now, as I think I've told you, because Facebook started messing with them and muting my own songs and stuff.
Yes.
However, in Ecamm, there is a tutorial about using Restream, which I looked at. I just was sending a message to that group. I don't know if it got there, to say, I've watched this video of Adrian Salisbury's about Restream, half a dozen times. I still can't figure out how to do it. And so I know that in the Ecamm Live, they mentioned, like, they have a choice to use Restream or to use something called OneStream.
Okay.
So you've mentioned using you just mentioned using Restream. Mm-hmm. So how do you do it?
Well, and I'm going to I know, Catherine, you actually have access to this course already because you've taken the booking course. So I would just go into the virtual shows blueprint and watch the video on how to set up in Restream.
Oh God, thank you. Because I'm just like, Adrian is fantastic, but it's just that he also talks fast. So and I'm like, what the fuck? I just can't keep it straight. So I will watch yours for sure. Yeah. Thank you.
And then if you still can't, let me know or something. But I really have. I tried to. Because like I say, for all of you, when I first started doing all these live streams and even trying to figure out some of the things, I just didn't know a lot of the platforms, and I was confused. And sometimes tutorials help, sometimes they don't, but I was trying to think about it like step by step by step, like, how do I click here? Where do I look here for this? And so that's why I wanted to get you started, so that you could at least go live on one platform, like in Restream or StreamYard. I will say both of those. There's also another one called BeLive.com.
No, I have to use one of the ones in Ecamm.
No, I know. I'm just saying it for everybody here.
Yeah, right.
I think it's called b.live.com. I think that's how it is. But anyway, if you decide that you want it, that's another possible platform. Right. But StreamYard and Restream are both really great platforms. I think in many ways they're more user-friendly than a lot of things that are out there.
Right.
So,
okay, I'll look at that. And the reason, like, what I'm going to do with Restream is I am going to make Facebook one of the places, and I am going to try once again to do a Facebook event page, but I find them really problematic with a lot of people. You get into this circular thing, you click what's supposed to be the link, and it takes you to their announcement, and then when you click on the announcement, it goes back to the event page and stuff like that. but I'm hoping that I can figure that one out. Um, but I think if I do it through Ecamm and use something like Restream that goes to Facebook, and Facebook says if you set up an event page, they will, even if it's an external link, it will work. So I'm hoping that that will prevent this little nasty Facebook support group, which is not affiliated with Facebook or is paid by Facebook, but has somehow got the power to mute for a possible copyright infringement. You know, it's just like, so I'm going to give it a try, and I'm hoping to do it next Monday, but I might not get it ready yet to do that. So I will try eventually. Anyway, I'll be quiet now.
Oh, that's great. And it looks like, is it Ade, or am I saying your name right? Did you want to ask your question? Let's see, you're still muted yet. Can you hit the unmute button?
Okay.
There it is. Did I say
Can you
your
hear
name
me?
right? Yes.
Yeah, you did. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
You're all looking really nice. Great lights. Sorry if I'm looking weird, because I've got my laptop down here and I've got my 32-inch screen up there. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
kind of all over the place. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes. So great stuff, Tara. I've been following you up and down on your Facebook stuff, and occasionally I've been off the grid for a while.
Sure.
But my question to you is this: I have had a Facebook. I set up a Facebook artist page a couple of months ago.
That's smart.
Yeah, the plan being to try and get into starting the Facebook Live stuff. I had come to that from messing around with OBS, and like you said, it's very daunting for someone, because you have to set things up. I'm a music producer, so I am relatively savvy when it comes to setting up a studio.
Yeah.
But with all this OBS and stuff and the quality control issues, because you can link up your plugins to put compression and reverb and just set up the sound nicely. But there are also there's a myriad of ways you can do that. Some people say you can use your phone and go to I've forgotten what it's called. They give you a link that you can put on your phone, and then that is read as a camera on your OBS. But they also say it's best to set up, if you can, an Ethernet connection, just to be careful about, with wireless, you never know when it goes off and just plays up. So, but going back to the Facebook thing, I just realized that it's quite daunting setting up a Facebook artist page, because there are so many fields, and what do you click? How do you configure it so that it's a seamless way when you set up your live book, your Facebook Live issue? Because I've set up the usual things of putting a bit about yourself, but I mean, how do you move forward from that, from someone who's a complete beginner to that? It's just difficult. How do you actually start going live on Facebook with a Facebook musician account that's been set up properly for that, without having to go into all the settings to optimize it? You know what I mean? It's tricky.
Yeah, you don't, all I'll say this is that when you are going live on Facebook, the page, it's just literally, clicking where the live button is, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going on, the simplest way I always tell people to start is using the phone, because it's literally, do it like, I mean, you can do it this way or this way, it doesn't matter. Because people nowadays, a lot of people watch on the phone, and then some people watch on the computer. So this or this doesn't really matter. But the only reason I say that is because when you hit that live button, it's so easy, as far as, it's just, I mean, you can put the title in there. It gives you that option for that, just like on the laptop. I always think, try to keep things as simple as possible until you even get used to the whole feeling of being live on camera in front of people, and getting that part down. As far as the laptop too, I think that's something that I did actually walk you guys through in this virtual shows course. So if you do grab that, because it's a little bit of a process if you do go on your laptop to figure out, even hooking up like a audio interface, like a
Yeah.
Scarlett Solo or those kind of things. And if you need to go on your laptop live, you can obviously, but I would try to use like a Scarlett Solo or going through Restream or StreamYard. And
Okay.
they have free accounts on both of those that will allow you to go to one platform. But and again, that's kind of, I mean, today I'm not going to walk you guys all through that because that's a whole lot of
Yeah,
time.
I
But
can imagine.
yeah, but I mean, is the thing is, if you have a Facebook page for your artist page,
Yeah.
you don't really need to have tons of things filled out on it. I mean, if you basically have a tiny thing like on the about section about
Yeah,
yourself,
that's pretty much where I've gone, where I'm at.
yeah, and then have your cover photo, your profile photo, and then just literally, I would though try to create an event, which if you click on the events, in your tabs for the
Yeah.
page, you can
Okay.
click on event. And I would do that to help people get used to you also going live so that
Okay.
you can promote it that way. And when you fill that out, it gives you literally a step by step, whether you're on your phone or whether you're on the laptop. When you click events, it's usually things like the title, the date,
Yeah.
how long,
Yeah.
and if you've done it, I don't know if you have, but it's really step by step.
Okay. Now,
And
can I
then
ask you? Sorry to interrupt. When you do your live streams, do you do it via your phone? Because I've got an iPhone here, iPhone 12, which I'm planning on using. So I'm
yep,
not okay. So
I do.
I'm
And
not
I
keen on going through the laptop. I would prefer this, and I found a way to use a connector so that I can go from my
yes,
interface and go into my
into
via
there.
Lightning connection so that I can tweak the audio quality,
Yes.
etc. So I've done quite a lot of background tweaking and stuff to get the audio quality into this, and then use this on OBS to read it as the audio as the audio as well as the video capture thing, because that's all the technical stuff that goes on there. But
Yep.
that is very, very helpful advice there about the just simplifying it and not getting too bogged down with the technical stuff. Because again, what's starting to bug me is that almost every day I'm getting notifications on my usual Facebook page saying, "Oh, 5 people have checked your artist page today," and I just don't know what to do about it. And I feel like, what, I'm losing out here. I should be
Right.
exploiting this interest in what I do, because
Right.
I've put links to an EP that I produced last, that I released on DistroKid. It's on all the usual
Awesome.
platforms. So, and people have spread the words amongst my friends groups. But so I suspect that these are people who just want to see what I'm about, and I've done absolutely nothing. So it's like, I
That's
really
great.
should be, I'm hearing all you guys doing, gigs here and there, and I'm just so far behind the pack. I feel I
Oh,
shouldn't even be in this meeting,
no,
but
no, no, no. And here's the deal. This is a great time to start because actually people are more attuned. I think since the pandemic, people are much more attuned to even watching things online than they used to be. So I think it's a great time to start. And if you've already got fans there, don't hesitate either to invite people to like your page, or I think it's follow it now, or maybe it's
yeah,
both. But point is, send out a mailing of that, just send out invites to people from your page, because they'll let you invite your friends. You
okay,
can't invite people that are not your friends, but you can invite your friends and at least start there. And then the more that you do, that's the thing. Like if you just decide, maybe when you go live the first time, you do one song, that's it. You don't even need to, but if you do that one song and you go live, Facebook's algorithm is already going to go, oh, there's a live video going on. And so that will keep getting people to start connecting. It's going to get your stuff out there. And then the replay can be there. They've given us an option now on the lives. This is new. It used to just, if you said, like allow it to be saved, it would just stay there forever. Now there's a second option that says delete after 30 days.
okay, yeah,
So, I don't know. I've gone back and forth, but I'm like, you know what? I'd kind of rather have it there, unless it's maybe a video that I just wasn't sure of. Then
yeah,
you could hit that option. But at least then the replay is there. The other thing you can do, and I think I talk about this in You know, you guys, let me just share my screen because this is something I think people forget to do. I'll just do it really quickly here. Let me just go into, hold on a minute. I'm going to get into here. I'll just go into Facebook for a minute. Because I just want to show you, this is something that when people then come to your page, if you want them to see your live, let me just go to my page. Come on, computer. It's always slow. Now I have a different post pinned today, but if you notice, this says a pinned post, and this is because I'm going to be going live on Monday. So this is an area, if you see those 3 little dots, do you see where it says unpin from top of page? Because this post is pinned. So I could unpin it, which I'll just do for a minute. But now if I wanted to pin it, I click pin to the top of the page. And so that means that when people see my page, the first thing they're going to see is this actual event. But if I had gone live, I would have pinned my live, like the replay of my live, I would pin that to the top of it so that then it's right there for people to see. Wow. So that's just something I think is wise for any of us. Anytime you want people to see a post, you have the option of pinning it or unpinning it. And a lot of times what I'll do is like this, I'll have pinned until Monday. Once I do my replay, I will unpin this post and then I will pin the actual video.
Okay, is this something that is in your course that you've put out, stuff like this and how to optimize that stuff? Is this something that's in your course?
Yes, because especially in.
Can I ask what?
Go ahead.
Yes, you were saying?
No, go ahead.
You were going to say? I wanted to ask what is the average time you do for a live gig? Because I was thinking of doing maybe a 5-minute, 10-minute, just 2 songs, just to test the waters, and before I chicken out and get too nervous,
I would definitely.
What's the minimum time you would say?
I would definitely say at least 1 song, but they say, I have heard 12 minutes is what I have heard as it takes sometimes that long for people to actually get on your live. But if you don't even have 2 songs, if you have 1, I mean, I know some of these ladies too that have been here and done their lives, they've started with 1 or 2 songs or 3 songs. The point is just get out there, just get live, do a song. Maybe the next week, do another song. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry so much about time for the moment, but if you're feeling more comfortable, then try to get that, as we said, 15 to 20 minutes is really kind of the key, that it keeps people engaged enough, but it also allows you, to have kind of enough substance there. Yeah. And to also see, the other thing, as I mentioned at the beginning, Facebook, YouTube, all these platforms, they want to keep us on the platform. So they want the viewer to be viewing with you. So, in some ways, the longer you have the live and you can get people to stay. But the other thing is you want to make sure people are connecting with your live. So that's why I say start less. This couple that I watch that do a weekly live, it's an hour long. And I don't always watch for an hour, but they've kind of gotten to that point. I don't think they started with an hour. I think they started with a half an hour. And because then they had people that regularly came, they've stretched it out now to longer. And people do stay to the end. I have myself, and I've seen other people do it. But I think just, again, start simple, because to me, getting out there, going live is better than not doing it. So that would be my encouragement.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for hogging the post here, but this is all right. But I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking, hang on, it's so far behind the pack here.
No.
We've done that ages ago. It's funny because one of the things I was considering doing was maybe starting off on Instagram, because a few months ago, I just happened to log on Instagram, and John Mayer had just logged on, and it was just amazing because he said, look, he was just going to bed, and he just saw his acoustic guitar by the side of the door and just said, no, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm just going to jam. And he was just doing a freestyle thing, no songs. He was just making stuff up. And I was amazed because I was just seeing the figures. It started with about 500 people. And in the space of 4 minutes, it had gone to 13,000. It went up to 20,000. 30,000 people, and I'm like, this is just some guy who's just he was about to go to bed, but just said, no, I feel the urge to just grab my guitar and just jam. And he was making up all these nonsensical lyrics, and just, it was such a
Yep.
great thing to see. And I was like, I could do that. You know, we
Yes,
all
and
do that. You know what I mean?
and people want that. And the other thing about live, I probably said that, but because of the comments, because people can comment and then you can respond in the moment. It's like us now. We're having conversations right now. And we all love that. Like that's part of who we are as people, you know? So that's why I like live video. And I know it scares people because a lot of times they feel like they've got to be perfect somehow or their sound has to be. And all of us who have done it have had glitches, all of us at some point, maybe more than we'd like to at times. But I mean, you can't control certain things, but the whole thing, if you're connecting with people, the people that it's funny, there was someone, I'll just say this on Facebook. I had followed a bunch of music pages probably, I want to say 3 to 4 years ago. And I have seen nothing of those pages until more recently. Now, some of that is because Facebook's been throwing things back in the algorithm. I don't know why. But the thing I was looking at when I went on their pages was that a lot of them, they don't post or they don't go live. And so it's like, how are you going to connect with your fans if you aren't actually being there with them? So that's why, and because we have this technology, you know, here we are all sitting here from different countries and places around the world, and yet we can be with each other. It's the same thing on all these lives. Like you were saying, you were just connecting with him the other night.
Yeah.
It's possible. So I just encourage everybody to do it and find, you know, don't also feel like because I understand for all of us, you guys, we as artists, you have a ton of things on your plate. You all do. I know you do. And so time is a big issue. But what I would say is find a time to commit to it. And maybe it's only for a season. Maybe you say, I'm going live once a week for the next month. And then you let your fans know that so that they can come on that journey with you. Or maybe you go once a month live. Whatever works for you, but just whatever you choose, just let your fans know and be consistent. That's the only thing I'd say. And even if it's just you're doing one song a week, there's a friend of mine that did on YouTube. She called it 2 for Tuesdays. And she just did 2 songs every Tuesday and just kept that on, you know, so because she didn't have more time than that, even to learn the songs or to do them, you know. So we really have a lot of possibility right now. And I feel like since these platforms exist pretty much for free, I mean, obviously you got to own equipment and stuff, but it's like let's use them. Let's use them
Okay.
to our advantage as musicians and connect with people. So
Okay, one last thing. Sorry, guys, for hogging this thing. One last thing. Now, I think it was a few months ago that you mentioned on one of your Facebook tutorials where you said, if you're someone like me, whereby you need to keep your fans engaged, that you should do some sort of, I think the way you described it was to get some pre-recorded clips of what you've done, and then there's a scheduling thing that you just put some content that you've done before, so it just keeps your fans engaged, and so that you're not disappearing for a few weeks and you know you lose that momentum and
yes.
stuff. I mean, what do you think about that? As in, it's called scheduling or something like that. I think that's the way you put it.
Well, you might be talking about Creator Studio, which
Oh,
is
okay, yeah.
also it's in Facebook. I am going to share my screen for this, you guys, because just for a minute since you asked about it, and because it has not been as easy to find lately. Creator Studio used to be like on this left side of the page. When I would go down, it would be under the C's and you'd see Creator Studio, and it's not there anymore. So what you have to do, I think there's 2 ways I think you can get in it, but I will also a lot of times just go Creator Studio. I'll type it in. This is stupid why I have to do it this way, but now you see it comes up. I click on it and it should get me in there. Did I click on it? Yeah, I think it's thinking. This is where you do all the scheduling of posts, both for Facebook and for Instagram. And I'm not going to show you exactly how to do it, but I'm just saying this is where it's called Creator Studio. Facebook here, if I click on there, Instagram, the icons. So you're toggling back and forth between the icons. But if you notice at the very top of the page, it says business.facebook.com/creator studio.
Yeah.
So they've changed where you find it, but it's there, and it's where I do all my scheduling of, you can see all kinds of things, video,
Yeah.
photo, carousel, stories, all of that. So that's where you want to go. And I'm trying to think if I know there's tutorials out there. I feel like I created a tutorial on this, but if I haven't, I might do one for you guys in the future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to kind of walk through it. So I hope that helps.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I'll definitely be purchasing your course over the next day or two. So
Cool.
definitely.
Yes,
Definitely.
and just email if there's any other questions too,
Yeah.
Ade, because it's,
Yeah.
sometimes things come up, you're like, wait a minute, what did you mean by that?
Yeah.
So,
Indeed. Well,
is there
thank you very
any,
much for that.
yeah,
So
any
we
other
appreciate it.
questions? Anybody else or thought? Anybody, even in the even if you want to even put it in the chat, that's fine too. Because I don't mind if you don't want to be on camera, I don't mind answering that way. I'll just give you a moment. Again, so I'm just going to put the link in for the product of the complete virtual shows blueprint for the gigging musician. Like I said, I created it after having to switch so quickly. I mean, like I said, I had been going live since 2017, but when 2020 hit and everything got shut down, I was having to also find ways of how am I going to do my live gigs, that were in person before. And I did so much research on it so that I could start offering to places, I can do an online for you. Let's figure out how to do this. And so I did save some of my gigs that year, and now I'm just convinced that people are used to online, and so I just don't think it's going away. That's the thing. So I think, and if you can find a platform that you feel comfortable with, some of you have done that before. So all right, I don't see any questions. So thank you all so much for joining me live, and for those of you guys who watch later, so appreciate it. Love seeing your faces, love seeing your questions, comments. Hopefully I'll see you guys more on by the way, if you want some extra trainings too, I now on my YouTube channel, which is probably where I'm gonna upload the replay here, but I also have a few trainings now on some booking things, and next week I'm actually gonna have a thing on LinkedIn. No, it's up there already. On a hack on LinkedIn of how to connect with some people there too when you're trying to book gigs. So anyway, just to let you guys know, again, thank you so much. I'm gonna stop this right now.